Hvad er det? I don't know, the dog just found something interesting. I'm just sitting outside a house by the field, and I just found out why the dogs started smelling like cow shit as of yesterday. It's because they, as you can see, the trails, they just fertilized the field, and she loves to run around out here and probably, you know, roll around too. So I don't know what's called in English, fertilizer maybe. That's such a clean word for it. We just call it the gylle in Danish. That's basically just cow shit. Let's not kid ourselves, that's what it is. Okay, I'm not making this video to talk about cow shit. I wanted to try and talk to you about a more personal subject today. I'm trying to do it on a video instead of an email for once, because there's a lot to be said, and it's easier to talk than write. So sorry about not wearing any clothes. It's like 70 degrees right here right now. That's like 40 degrees too much for my liking. And I just mowed the lawn, which is why I look a mess and sweaty and all that. Sorry about that. I'm not a professional YouTuber. I haven't bothered shaving either. You know, I have mentioned this in the past, so you may know that a few years back I went through a year or so, maybe a year and a half of intense anxiety, panic attacks, as a lot of people do these days. And what prompted it was the death of my dad. Brought up a lot of childhood fears concerning death and, you know, losing him, and I came out on the other side once I finally learned how to deal with it, feeling a lot stronger, feeling very peaceful and calm, and I felt I knew how to deal with my emotions, and particularly fear and anxiety, and that's really a superpower if you can do that, if nothing scares you, you know. Like Alexander said, I believe it was, every moment free of fear, man is immortal. I really love that quote. It rings very true once you've, you know, beaten fear, conquered it. But about almost 2 years ago now, it broke out again, and started with, you know, milder panic attacks, but they were definitely panic attacks. I know what they feel like, and I hadn't felt it for so long. I was pretty surprised. I'm just gonna make sure the dog hasn't run off. Philly? Oh, there she is. Yeah, come sir. Sorry about that. But then I was like, this time I just felt like I just couldn't be bothered, you know. The first time I didn't have any kids, I wasn't writing in English yet, and I didn't feel like I had a serious job or anything. I didn't have any other projects in my life than dealing with that shit, and I just completely crushed it. And it only took me a little over a year, because that was what my life was about. It was just, you know, learning to deal with that, getting rid of that awful feeling. And this time I have so much else going on, and I feel like I'm so busy. But most of all, I felt like I've cracked the code, you know, I've beaten it. Why is it back? Can you just buzz off? I just couldn't be bothered. And so I just kind of pushed it in the background and went on with my life for a few months, quite a few months, a couple of years almost, as I said. And I went through phases of kind of accepting it more and more, and then going back into denial. And now finally, like, I've declared to myself and to my wife and to others Billy? Like more than once, then okay, now it's over. Now I feel like it's gone. It's been gone for a couple of weeks or 3 weeks or something. So now it's over, and it's just come rolling back every time, you know. So clearly it wasn't over. Det var godt. Ja, det var godt. And I just couldn't understand it. Like I knew mentally, intellectually what it was and how to deal with it, but I didn't know it in my bones, you know. I'd forgotten those strategies and how to I don't know, how to handle it, how to deal with it internally, and so it didn't leave me. And so what does it feel like? I'm sure a lot of you know anxiety or panic. It's, for me, it can be anything from, you know, just mild agitation, anxiety, just, you know, the body being excited, but not in a good way, kind of a stressful way. That's very mild, like a subtle feeling of something being wrong maybe, and then all the way to the other end of the scale, which is just a shot of panic and just, you know, but those aren't that bad. They don't make me pass out or anything. It just feels like, you know, going in a roller coaster or something. That's not the worst part for me. The worst part for me is it's often accompanied by a feeling of dread, like the world is gonna end, like there's a bottomless pit inside and I'm gonna fall into it. And for me, it's not. I started out saying it's about death, and I think it is somehow, but that's not what the thoughts and the panic is about. It never is, actually. It's just, you know, I know a lot of people say they feel like they're gonna die. I never felt that. It doesn't feel like my heart is gonna stop or anything. I know body is fine, but what my panic says is that, you know, like this awful feeling is gonna come and it's gonna take me over, and it's just gonna stay there forever. You know, and I won't be able to get rid of it, which I know is not true. I've experienced it a lot of times that it always passes. I know how to deal with it. It has never stayed. It's never stayed for more than minutes, a few hours at worst, and that's only a couple of times that's happened. So, sorry about the not very cheerful subject, by the way, but let me end on a positive note, because a month ago or so I was like, okay, it's time to really deal with this now. It's time to go to the root of it. And you probably know that I'm a little into spirituality, and the way I tackled it first this time was, I was just like, okay, the fear is some immature part of me. It's an emotion that's not fully, you know, it's like an inner child that's very sad and scared and feels abandoned or whatever. And I'm gonna treat it like that, and I'm gonna invite it up, and I'm gonna accept it, and I'm gonna move on with whatever I'm doing, just, you know, calmly bringing that suffering child with me. And that worked fine for 2 or 3 days. I felt like when it came on, it was like a wave, and because I positioned myself, like, you know, because I opened my heart completely as soon as I felt it, it just had room to rush through me. But then a few days later, it started to, when it came, it just kept rolling, you know, no matter how open I felt I stayed, it just kept kind of rolling in me and only diminished slowly, and I felt like, I feel like this is not right, you know. So I switched, I tried something that's almost the opposite. Well, the opposite of being very open would be to be in complete denial and just closing down and not wanting to feel it. That's not what I did. What I did was, I'm just gonna, you know, make myself completely present as soon as I feel it. Just focus completely on what's here right now. My senses, my eyes particularly. Like this. No thoughts. And because I know how to do that, I've practiced mindfulness for years. And what it did was, like, the message internally then was, I'm not gonna leave. This is my space. Fear and everything else is welcome to be here, but I'm here first. And that was really magical. It was like, you know, just pulling the plug on that growing wave of fear. It just right back down. It was just like, nah, I'm not gonna be here if you're gonna be here. And I was like, fine, that's up to you. And I was really surprised. And what was probably the most surprising part was that it didn't just leave me calm and present. It left me with a positive feeling, like a buzzing feeling of being happy. It was subtle. It wasn't like anything elated, crazy. But I really felt like that fearful energy transmuted, I think is the word they use in spiritual circles, transmuted into a feeling of good. It's hard to explain, but I would notice this 6 or 7 times in a row, and that's when I finally noticed, you know, I feel not just neutral, I feel better than before this happened. So I really think that was a turning point, and I've been doing that for almost 2 weeks now, and it's working wonders, and I'm gonna keep doing it. And I'm gonna stop kidding myself that I finally cracked the code again, and this is it forever, and I'm cured now. I'm definitely not. You know, it's just you know, panic and anxiety. It's just too much imagination. That's what it is. I have a lot of imagination, a very vivid imagination, as you can imagine. I believe, was it an American president who said a thing about there's nothing to fear except fear itself, and that's spot on. I like to think about it a little bit differently, worded a bit differently, like you know, whatever I'm afraid of, it's my imagination that created it. There's nothing in reality to be afraid of, unless there's a damn tiger in front of me, which is never the case. It's always something I made up. You know, even if you knew you had 2 days left to live, you'd probably be scared, or say 2 hours or whatever. But if there was no pain, no physical pain, and you were a dog, then you wouldn't be afraid, would you? Because you wouldn't know. What makes you afraid is not that you're gonna die. It's your imagination. It's you knowing that you're gonna die, and your imagination going there and imagining it. And that's so, yeah. So I really start every morning, almost every morning, just, you know, sitting for half an hour, whatever I get before the kids wake up, and I just focus on the breath, focus on I'm not going to show you because my I'm not going to show you my belly, but the point below the navel is a great place to be. Like this morning I woke up, and just like the actual weather, as you may be able to tell, it's a little windy today, and my head felt like that. I've slept well. I just woke up and had this buzzing energy, and it was a little stressful, and I just, normally I would just go straight to work, and I forced myself to sit there, had my coffee, meditated, and just kept going back. And I was like, no, my inner space is not clear. And I stayed below my navel until I felt like my mind was calming down, it was settling, that energy. Then I felt calm and clear, and then I went to work. And you'll be happy to know I got those 2,000 words down. So I've been writing every day, pretty much every day, despite this, and that goes for the past 2 years too, as you know. So yeah, I just wanted to. I know this is a lot to spring on you just all of a sudden, and next time I'm gonna wear proper clothes. But I just felt like, yeah, like I said, it was easier to share this in a video. We're creeping up on 15 minutes now, so I'm gonna cut it short. Thanks for listening, and feel absolutely free to share your thoughts with me, and shoot me an email, comment on this video. I love to hear if you're dealing with something similar in what you're doing. Yeah, and I think that's all. Take care. Bye.